Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome. I am so glad to have you guys here. Hi, Emma. Welcome back. Hello, Miss Meryl, Alexis, Marilyn, Michelle. We are just going to get everybody in here. Diving into day three. We've got some juicy stuff today. You guys that are here live are really gonna love this because we are talking all about the natural yes pathway today. These are the needle movers in your business. These are the actions that you're going to focus on. Hello from Portland. Is that Portland, Oregon or Maine? Just curious, Marilyn. I love
Oregon.
Oregon. Amazing. So neither one. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so let's give everybody a chance to get in here. If you're watching this on Facebook, inside of the Facebook group, The Holistic Business Success, so glad to have you here. Go ahead and comment live if you're watching live. If you're watching the replay or the recording inside the Facebook group, go ahead and just give me a hashtag replay. That way I know that you're here, and Facebook will notify me that you're here, and I can make sure that you don't have any questions. So we're diving in again. It's you guys that are here live today that are watching this are really getting something special because we are going to be focusing on the 20% of the actions that create 80% of your results. These are the needle movers. These are the income generators between today and tomorrow. We're going to get started today. I'm going to share all three things that you want to focus on to actually have a steady stream of clients. I call this our natural yes pathway. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about making those heart-centered sales. So first things first, just pop in the chat for me. Let me know you're here. Say hello. Hello, Lori. Hello, Victoria. I'm so glad you're here. If you can come on screen, I would love to see your face. It's so much easier for me when I am teaching to not just talk to a black screen. I would love to see you. And let's see. Let's put that on Spotlight and I can still see you guys up there. And let me make sure that I can access our, nope, we can't, figures. The workbook. Driving, get on camera when you get home, no problem. All right, let's try this again. Zoom. I just want to pull up the workbook so that we can, there we are. So we can go over some of the things that we talked about already. So wow, already day one was all about making sure that we are tapped in to our empowered leader identity. And this is really, really important because if we are not feeling confident, if we are not feeling like we can actually do something, then what happens is that we don't do it, right? So nothing will work if we are not in the identity of allowing ourselves to say, I can do this. I've got this. I'm going to figure it out. And so, day one, I'm just going to recap real briefly. I'm not going to go through all the days because we've got the replays for you that you can access. But day one was really about tapping into and aligning. Hi, Sarah. Welcome to that empowered version of ourselves that is taking action, moving forward, believing it's possible, and actually claiming that we are a six-figure coach even before we actually see it in the bank account. Okay, that's really important. That is a mindset component that is going to make any strategy that you learn work better. So, day two, and we also went through the five core pillars of a successful and a soulful business, right? So, we talked about abundant mindset. We talked about being able to serve first and give value. I talked a little bit about the generosity game that I love to play. It's important that I am always serving from my heart before I make an offer to anybody. Why? Because there needs to be a relationship and experience of know, like, trust before anybody is even open to hearing, how we could support them. Then we talked about a simple, repeatable rhythm. And this is what I'm going to be diving in deeper with you guys today is we talked about the entire soulful abundance system and then the nurture method, or what I also like to call it is the natural yes pathway. So it's the way that we are moving people from strangers into our ecosystem, being able to connect with them as real, authentic people before we invite them to buy, but then moving them from stranger to viewer, from viewer to somebody who's engaged to someone who's actually interested in having support, and then someone who's interested in having support to actually being a paying client. okay? Without having to give away free coaching, without having to do these 1 hour discovery sessions, without trying to pitch somebody disguised as a free coaching call, okay? So that was day one. Yesterday, we dove into designing your six-figure system, which is your proprietary process, and making sure that you are all dialed in on having an offer suite. We talked about the power of three, which is having a top ticket, a mid ticket, and a low ticket offer as part of your offer suite. And I even did some math for you so that you could see how it's actually possible to create not only a six-figure business, but a multiple six-figure business with just these three offers. Okay, so definitely go back and listen to that. We talked about market rate, we talked about how to price things, and that is definitely something that you're going to want to go back and listen to if you still need to figure out what are you offering, right? Before somebody can work with us, we actually have to have a way that they can work with us. Okay, today is all about attract and nurture, and the natural yes pathway is actually these three things together. So, attracting, nurturing, and inviting, I want you to think of these as like three legs of a stool. So, I'm going to talk to you about what each one of these represent. And then I want you to see which piece are you missing, because a successful business is not going to work if we're missing any of these pieces. We must have all three of these pieces dialed in order to have an effective marketing and sales strategy. Okay. And that's what these three pieces really represent. Okay. Is what is our heart centered marketing and soulful sales strategy. Okay, so I want to talk about attraction first, and hopefully I won't lose my voice before the end of tomorrow because I just got off a 3.5 hour VIP day with our Activate Abundance clients. And our VIP days that we do every single month are actually implementation calls. It's not just teaching information, it's actually taking action. And so today we actually focused on attraction and growing our audience, because if we don't have a community, if we don't have an audience, if we're not visible, nobody can find us, and we're not actually going to be able to serve people. So we spent a full 3.5 hours. We do that once a month on something very, very specific. Today we talked about growing our audience. Next month in February, we're going to be talking about what do we do once they're actually in our ecosystem? What do we do with them once they're on our email list? That's nurture. So client attraction is where we want to be visible so people can find us. But even more importantly is how are we bringing them into our ecosystem? How are we bringing them into our ecosystem? And I want to share a little bit about what is an ecosystem. An ecosystem is going to be either your email list, because that is something that you own, or where you are showing up consistently and cultivating a community. Where I start with my clients, because it is what has helped me make over $3 million in my business, is having an email list as well as having a Facebook group. Okay, not just a personal page, but an actual group. And I'll talk a little bit more about cultivating a community when we get into nurture. But when we are attracting our ideal client or attracting somebody that we know that we could serve and support, that is where we decide where are we showing up consistently, where are we showing up visibly, with three different types of content that we share, which is hope. We want to share hope with people, because what this is doing, the types of content that we have, are walking them up what we call the ladder of belief. We're going to dive into the ladder of beliefs tomorrow, because before anybody can be a buyer, they have to go up the ladder of belief. They have to believe that change or transformation is possible for them. And actually, before they even believe it's possible for them, they have to believe it's possible in the world. So when we share hope in the form of our content, whether it's we're sharing it in an email, or we're sharing it in a video, or we're sharing it in a freebie, or we're sharing it in multiple ways, we're sharing hope that the transformation that they're looking for, their problem can actually be solved, and the transformation that they desire is actually possible somewhere in the world. They need to believe that it's actually possible for them. They need to believe it's possible for them now, not when the stars align, not when Mercury decides it's out of retrograde, whatever it is, right? Then they need to believe it's possible for them with your help, right? So when we are attracting, when we are being visible and bringing people into our ecosystem, we are sharing content, we are sharing information, but it's not just information, it's information that is going to help them have more of an experience of whether or not they even want to learn more from you. Okay, so this is before they're on our email list. This is before they're in our Facebook group. We have to be visible. And then we attract them with giving value. So, one way that you guys might have come into my world is through a freebie. Maybe you learned about me from a colleague or a referral. Maybe you saw a training that I've done, or maybe you just heard about the Abundant Coach Code and you're joining me here. This is value. This is where we are showing up, we're giving value, and we're supporting people so that they can step off of the sidewalk and step onto a pathway where we've got multiple benches. And I want you to think about the benches as being value. Okay. So your job is not to try to drag somebody off the sidewalk and drag them into your house, which is where we have our offer suite. It is to guide them along the pathway, first to get their attention, right? That's attraction, and then inviting them to come have a seat on the bench, which is free value. Okay, so we have to know who our ideal client is, and we have to use the right wording in order to do that. And I call this the difference between speaking chocolate or speaking broccoli, right? Our clients are asking for chocolate, they're asking for a solution to their problem. What most coaches and holistic professionals are doing, however, is they're speaking broccoli. And so, an example of this is I am going to help you create a balanced plate so that you can lose more weight. I am going to help you know exactly what exercises to do so that you can build muscle. Those are great. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you're talking more about what it is that you do and less about what it is that they're asking for, right? If they want to lose weight, what they really are asking for is I want to feel better in my body. I want to feel more confident. I want to feel sexy again. I want to fit into my clothes again. I want to not hide behind my family when photos are being taken, right? So there's a difference between what it is that our client is asking for versus what it is that we do. So inside of Activate Abundance Academy, which I shared last night, we help you come up with, all right, what is the chocolate that your ideal client is asking for so that you can get her attention so that she can raise her hand and self-identify and actually download your freebie or come into your community or decide that they want to learn more about you. Okay. So attracting the right client is really important. The next thing would be nurture. Once they're on your email list, once they're in your Facebook group community, now it's important that we're actually connecting with them and building a relationship so that we are helping people build trust. The problem that happens out in the world today is that there is a lack of trust. As a matter of fact, my husband shared a statistic this morning that I truly was shocked. And he said, you know, they're showing now that 7 out of 10 people, 70% of people now want to shop in person because they don't believe what they're seeing online with all of the AI generated photos and things like that. 70%, that's a lot, you guys, right? So here's the thing, if you are just sharing content and then going right into inviting somebody to work with you and there's no nurture, it's not going to happen. Basically, what you're doing is you're trying to take a stranger and turn them into a buyer, and that does not work. People are savvy today. There is what we call a trust recession, a lack of trust. They're more skeptical. They need to know that you're real. They need to know you. They need to like you. They need to trust you first before you're inviting them to work with you, which means we have to give them value. We've got to connect with them. We have to give them an experience. So people are looking for an experience. And one of the best ways to give them an experience is actually what you're seeing me do right now, which is teaching and giving value, right? You can see I'm not a AI generated image. I'm actually a real person. You're probably going to find spelling mistakes in my workbook, like it's really written by me. And so it's really, really important that we are nurturing and connecting. And there's a couple different ways that you can nurture people. And I talk about 2 different ways. One is in one to many. That's what I'm doing right now. I am nurturing you one to many. Me one, you many. I'm giving you value. I'm helping you see how you can build a 6-figure, multiple 6-figure coaching or holistic practice without having to give away all your time, without selling your soul, without sacrificing your well being, and to do it in a way that feels really generous, heart centered, and soulful, and also have fun doing it, right? Like, if it's not fun, I don't want to do it. right? So I'm actually nurturing you and I'm giving you value so that you can decide, because you're actually vetting me. Do I even like her? Do I even resonate with what it is that she's teaching? Is this something that I even want to learn? Right? So before I can even have a conversation with you, I need to make sure that you're getting value. You know what I'm about so that you can decide whether or not you want more support to implement what it is that I'm teaching. And your clients want the same thing too. Your clients need to be nurtured by you so that they can decide, do I resonate with this person? Do I like their energy? Do I trust them? Do I like them? Do I want support implementing what it is that they're teaching? And if the answer is no to any of those, they can't be a client for you. They won't go into the next step. Okay. So nurture is really, really important. We can't build a successful business without it. And yet, back in the day, some of you might have been with me, 2015, when I got my certification as a health coach, what they were teaching me, the methodology was go give people away free coaching sessions, but sell them into your thing, right? Sell them into your 90-day program. And that is not nurturing, actually. That is telling somebody that they get to have a free coaching session with you when on the back end the intention is really you're trying to convert them into a buyer and you're trying to overcome whatever objections come up inside of the conversation. And that never felt aligned for me. And while it works some of the time, it doesn't feel really good or aligned to many of us that are heart-centered leaders and soulful coaches. And so I stopped doing that. And I said, you know what, this isn't working for me. I don't like it. I'm not going to build my business this way. It feels like a bait and switch. So I stopped doing that. And instead, I created what you guys are looking at here. What am I going to do to actually connect with somebody and nurture them so that we can actually have a relationship before I actually invite them to work with me? Okay, so that's really important. And some of the ways that we can do that are again, one to many, like you're seeing me do now, and one to one. Okay, so the way that we do this one to one inside of Activate Abundance Academy is simply reaching out to people who are already in your ecosystem. These are not strangers. We are not cold DMing 100 people in the DMs, spamming them with things. We're saying, hey, I'm so glad you're here. Like, thank you for joining my Facebook group. Is there anything that you need this week? Or, hey, thanks so much for downloading my guide. I'm so glad you're here. Is there anything that you need right now? Or, hey, I'm so glad you're here. I've got this great event coming up. I think it might serve you. Let me know if you'd like the link. It's all permission based. It's relationship led and it's permission based. And it is what makes building or growing a business so much easier and so much more fun than trying to overpower somebody, overcome a pricing objection, overcome a timing objection, overcome all of that with manipulative tactics. I don't believe in that. Okay, so when we're nurturing, we're actually nurturing in a one to many or one to one. Another way that you can do one to one is actually doing an assessment. So, an assessment is not the same thing as a free 1 hour discovery session. An assessment is like a 20 to 30-minute session where you are having them answer some questions beforehand, and then you hop on a call with them one to one in Zoom or on the phone, and there is no pitch. There is no invitation to work with you. It is simply a way to connect with them and help them to create a win. That's it. Okay. Now, what you'll find on many of those assessments is that people feel calm because you feel calm. The pressure is off your shoulders. You don't need to try to get a client or close the deal on that call. It is simply to, they're going to vet you, you're going to vet them, you're going to see, is this somebody who I could even support? Right? You're going to help them to create a win. And again, often on these calls, people will then say, Chris, this was so awesome. Thank you so much. And I would like to actually hear how I could work with you. So there's never a pitch unless somebody says, I would like to know how I can work with you. And then at that time, I let them know up front, this call was specifically to support you and happy to share ways that, that I could support you if you're interested. But I just want you to know that that wasn't necessarily the intention of this call. And I will then either invite them into another call if I don't have time, because sometimes I have a client that's coming in right after them. I'll say, I don't really have time today, but why don't we hop on a call tomorrow, or we can hop on another call next week or something. And I'm happy to share the different options that might serve you the best. And I'll help you decide which one of these options are going to help you get the results in the time frame that you're looking for. Okay. So it's not a hard pitch. It's not where I'm trying to close the deal or convince somebody to buy. It's really where somebody is moving from your bench now up onto what I like to call my front porch, right? Where they're like, I really would like to know more. Like, I would like to know which one of the rooms in the house is going to be the best fit for me. Great. Then we have an actual consultation. So there's a difference. Now we're moving into the invite stage. Okay, now we're out of the nurture stage. Now we're in the invite stage where we're just simply listening to what it is that they're struggling with. We're hearing what it is that they're looking for. What is the transformation they want? What is the time frame that they want? And because they're already interested in hearing how they could get your support, it doesn't feel salesy. It doesn't feel slimy. It doesn't feel like you're trying to convince or manipulate or persuade anybody. You just get to share. Here's some ways that I could support you. Which one feels like the amount of support that you would like? So we'll share our top ticket item, which is going to be the amount of support that they get the most personal touch and the most access to you. Or we can share our mid ticket item, which is a place where people can kind of get a foundational piece. Or we can share with them our trust offer, which is a lower ticket offer if they just want to kind of dip their toe in the water and to have a place to get started. And we help our clients figure out all of their choices inside of Activate Abundance Academy because everybody's different. Some people like to do a nutritional assessment as their low ticket offer. Some people like to do memberships or courses. Some people like to do VIP days or one-off sessions. So there's a lot of different ways that you can create your low ticket trust offer, your mid ticket offer, and your high ticket offer. And we covered that yesterday. But as you can see, if we attract somebody and then we try to convert them into a buyer by inviting too quickly, you're going to lose them because they don't know you, like you, trust you yet. Okay. So if we attract somebody and nurture them, which is great, but we don't invite them to have support, then they also can't be a client. And if we nurture and invite, but we're not attracting the right client, and the right client needs to be somebody who meets two parameters. They need to be willing to do something about their problem, and they need to be capable. If they're not willing to do something about their problem, then you'll end up spending your time trying to convince them that they should do something about their problem. And that's not your job as a coach. Your job is to support somebody who is interested and capable of actually doing something about their problem, right? Otherwise, they're not your ideal client. And I want you to think of this also in terms of, the percentages that we typically have in our world. So right now, all of you have got potential clients in your world right now. Okay. 30% of them are probably liking your posts. They might be commenting, but they're not ready or willing to do anything about the problem yet. Okay. We call those sidewalkers, and it's totally fine. They get to stay, they can sit in as many benches as they want, but they're not your ideal client right now because they're not willing to do anything about their problem, right? The problem with communicating and having a message that speaks to trying to convince or persuade somebody
Good.
problem is that
My
they can't
to a
do anything.
client canceled. So I was like, oh, we should move. Our bodies can walk.
Hold on just a minute. If you guys could mute yourselves, that would be great. So whoever is going on a walk right now, that would be really great if you could just put your phone on mute.
Come on.
Emma, I'm going
I
to put
know
you
you
on
got a
mute.
bundle.
Okay. All right. Then we're going to come back. So those are the sidewalkers. Okay. There's nothing wrong with being a sidewalker. It's just that if we are spending our content trying to convince or persuade somebody, you're missing the people that are actually ready and willing to do something. So I want you to think instead, who do we actually market or share our message to, and who are the people that we want to nurture? And those are people that are in the slow lane. Those are people that are actively looking for a solution, right? They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're, wanting to actually do something about whatever problem it is that they're experiencing, and they really are looking for support. They just haven't found you yet. Okay. That actually makes up 67% of the people that are in your ecosystem. So our marketing messaging, our chocolate needs to speak to those people. Okay. Not the people that need convincing or persuading, but the people that are like, I am done. I am tired of having an expensive hobby and I really want a business now, right? I am tired of going on one diet after another diet and losing some weight and then gaining it all back. I am tired of waking up with pain every morning and my joint pain is killing me and the medicine's not working and I'm not sure what to do next. And I want to solve this thing, right? Those are people that are in the slow lane. They're looking for a solution. They just haven't found it yet. And then 3% of the people that are in your world already know you, like you, trust you, and they're ready to go. And they typically are going to come from your nurture bucket. I like to think of these as buckets, right? They're already in your ecosystem. They're on your email list. They're already in your Facebook group. They've downloaded a freebie. They've come to an event that you've done. They've heard you talk someplace. They've already had an experience with you already. And they're like, I'm ready to go. I'm done. You're the person I want to work with. Okay. So this is the natural yes pathway. This is guiding somebody from stranger who's walking along in front of your house, getting their attention so that they can raise their hand and say, yep, I want to learn more about that. They come sit on a bench and sometimes they sit on multiple benches, right? Sometimes I have people come to multiple of my trainings, which is great. I want them to come and learn. And if they want to implement on their own, great. No problem. Sometimes they might be downloading a freebie. Great. I want them to have access to that. I want them to feel safe and trusting because I know that nobody is going to be a paying client unless they feel safe and unless they trust me. And so my job is to show up and to serve and to nurture and to give value and to see who in my world might be interested then of learning more on how they can implement with my support. Okay, is this making sense? So we're just giving people a natural pathway. We are not trying to persuade anybody that they've got to work with us. We are not trying to convince them or manipulate them with any, wonky tactics. We are simply guiding them along this pathway, this client pathway. And it's a beautiful thing because it actually works. Number one, I wouldn't teach it and I wouldn't implement it if it didn't work. And number two, it makes it more fun because by the time you get to the invite place, your person already knows you. They already like you. They already trust you. And so now it just becomes a matter of timing. Are you interested in having support to solve the problem that you have right now? If you are, great. Let's hop on a call and we can talk about ways that I can support you. If you're not, no problem. Continue to stay in my Facebook community and learn. Continue to stay on my email list and learn, right? So that allows you to just give somebody, the reason why I call it the natural yes, is because we're just giving them an opportunity to take that natural next step that they are looking to take, Okay. So these are revenue generating activities. These are what is going to create 80% of your profit and revenue. How much, whether or not you attract, nurture, and invite on a daily basis is going to determine whether you bring in a paying client every once in a while or it feels random, or whether you have a steady stream of paying clients. Okay. And the beauty, again, is that it's not difficult. It is heart-centered. It is generous. It is still doing what we like to do as wellness entrepreneurs, which is serve and help people create wins. And there's still an invitation component in there so that you can see who is in your nurture bucket that you might want to reach out to and say, hey, I'm so glad you're here. Are you interested in having support to grow your business, lose the weight, have less pain in your body, right? And it's very permission based. Okay. So it's not, it doesn't feel wonky. It doesn't feel salesy, right? So the first place that we want to do in order to attract the right client is message clarity. Okay. What transformation do you help your clients to create? And what do your clients need to hear to actually understand the value of your work? This is chocolate. We need to understand specifically what are they asking for, not what we do. What are they asking for? Okay. So what is the transformation or the result that they want? And I like to think of this in terms of Pain Island and Pleasure Island, right? Right now, they're on Pain Island. And these are the things that they're telling me that they're struggling with. And these are the challenges. And these are the things that they don't like. And these are the things that they don't want anymore. Okay, that's Pain Island. My job is to use my signature system that we talked about yesterday as a bridge to share with them how when they go through a certain set of steps, they can get to what it is that they say they want, which is their transformation. What does it look like on Pleasure Island? If they weren't struggling with the things that they're struggling with right now, what does that transformation look like? Not what we think it should look like, but what is it that they are saying it actually looks like, right? So, yes, they might say that they want to lose weight, but why do they want to lose weight? Right? Maybe they want to have more intimacy with their husband. Maybe they want to finally fit into their sundress again. I don't know. Like it depends. This is where we have to understand and have real conversations with our ideal client. So message clarity is going to be really important. It's why we focus on this in our attraction pillar, because if we get this wrong, we might be speaking to the people who are the sidewalkers who are not interested in or capable of doing anything about their problem, right? When we get this right, we're actually talking chocolate so that they can raise their hand and say, "Oh my gosh, yes, how did you know?" Right? How did you know that my husband asked me, "When is this business going to start making money again?" How did you know that I feel that this is just an expensive hobby? My tax person is like, "Yeah, you got maybe one more year to try to get some income in here." Right? Because those are the challenges and the pain points that my clients who work with me inside of Activate Abundance Academy actually have. So that's languaging, that's the chocolate that I know that they want, right? So message clarity in order to attract the right people is to just get clear here. And if you're not sure, have some conversations with people who are your ideal client. Ask them, what are they struggling with? What is the transformation that they want? Right? And use their words. You don't want to make up stuff because we think it's what they want to hear. We actually want to use their words. Okay. So the next piece is being visible. And I want to share, the difference between sales and marketing. Okay. Most people get this wrong. They think that what they're doing is sales and it's actually marketing. And they're taking actions that are designed to create visibility, and they're thinking that that visibility is actually going to turn directly into a sale, and it doesn't. So if you have found yourself telling yourself, but I'm posting and I'm sharing offers and I'm showing up and nobody is reaching out to me and nobody is buying, that's because you're not using a sales tactic. You are actually using a marketing tactic. Posting is a visibility activity. It is a way for you to get people's attention. Okay. It is short form content. Short form content attracts people into your ecosystem, but it does not convert buyers. Long form content is what is designed to convert somebody who is interested in learning more into a buyer. Okay. Long form content is what you see me doing right now. I am sharing information over a period of multiple days. It doesn't have to be 4 days. It could be a 1 hour training. It could be an in-person talk. I used to, when I was building and growing my health coaching practice, I used to do about 90-minute talks. It was about an hour, 90 minutes with chiropractors, acupuncturists, massage therapists with their community, right? So visibility is getting in front of the right people and using the right wording, right? And short form. Long form, nurturing then is part of our long form, which then is going to lead to sales. So you might be missing the nurture piece, which is actually your long form content, which is actually going to convert into a sale because people now know what it is that you do. They know whether or not they're a good fit for you. They know whether they like you. They know whether they trust you. And then they're actually willing to explore having support. Doesn't mean they're 100% yes. It just means that they're willing to explore because they've learned and they feel trusting. This making sense? If this is sounding good to you and making sense, go ahead and pop a yes in the chat for me. Okay, so I shared here a little handout that we use inside of Activate, these are all the ways that you can attract clients. Okay, these are all the ways that you can be visible. Okay, so free offers like your freebie or a lead magnet is one way that you can bring somebody into your email ecosystem, right? They are only going to download it if they're interested in solving the problem that the freebie is about. So, for example, I have a freebie called Get Your Next Client in 7 Days. Well, only people who are looking to get a new client in the next 7 days are going to download it, right? Somebody who wants to learn how to make barbecue isn't going to download it. So our freebies and the name of our freebies and the transformation when we help people create a win are again based on our message clarity, right? So free offers are one way, like a freebie. I'm not talking about giving away 1 hour free coaching sessions to try to coach them. Okay. Nurture events are another way, and this is specifically what you see me doing right now, which is online or in-person events, talks, masterclasses. Okay, those are really, really great because they collapse the amount of time that people need to build know, like, trust with you. Okay, it typically takes around 11 hours of time for somebody to know, like, and trust you. So if you're not giving them value and serving and nurturing them, how are you collapsing those 11 hours? If you're not using your email to connect with them, or you're not making invitations, or you're not showing up so people can find you, you're not collapsing that 11 hours. Okay. So I love to teach, otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this. I love to talk, and I love to give value. So this is a really, really great fit for me and for my clients who really like to serve in this way to build and grow their business because it's fun and it doesn't feel wonky or any of that stuff. Okay. Email would be another way, right? So again, that would be with your freebie. Newsletters also are going to be fall into our nurture category, to help stay in touch. You can have a personal blog where you give value, but this is about having an email, maybe a newsletter that you go out once a week that actually helps stay in touch. What we don't want to do is give them a freebie and then ghost our email list, right? So I have a lot of clients that come into Activate that might have a freebie, but it's basically collecting dust. They have the freebie, but they don't know what to do with the people or the leads that are coming into their email list. Okay. And so we want to do something with the people once they're on their email list. And that can come in the form of either a weekly newsletter or staying in touch or reaching out and inviting them to join your Facebook group so they can actually have a visual experience. Okay. The reason why I do these live is because I want to connect with you. I want to be able to see Alexis and say, hey, Alexis, I'm so glad you're here. I want to be able to see Sarah and say, hey, Sarah, I'm so glad you're here. I want to be able to see Emma and Meryl and Marilyn and all of you that are here and say hi and just let you know that I'm a real person, right? That builds trust quicker than, just a regular email sequence that you're, sending to people, right? The next way that we can actually bring and attract new people into our ecosystem is through collaborations. And so when I shared how I would collaborate with doctors, acupuncturists, other, coaches that were building and growing their business, they were just serving my ideal client in a different way. So collaborations are a way that you can leverage other people's audience to get in front of your ideal client. So, for example, this week I did a talk inside of a group where it was a coach who taught breath work and energy work, right? I don't teach breath work. I don't teach energy work, but her clients are energy workers and learning and becoming certified in breath work, and they want to grow their business. So that's a really good fit for both of us, right? And she can come into my community and talk about breath work and energy, and I can go into her community and talk about a simple heart-centered way that they can grow their business. So when we connect and collaborate with people, we are being given the opportunity to get in front of our ideal client that we typically wouldn't have an opportunity to get in front of because they're not in our ecosystem yet. Okay. Really, really fun way to do it as well. And I absolutely love that. Networking and associations are another way that you can get in front of your ideal client. And really, where I see networking or associations working is more on being able to see who is at that networking association that you might want to collaborate with. I don't go to networking events looking to get a paying client. If I go to a networking event, I am looking to connect with people who we might be able to connect and collaborate with. Okay. And then articles, for those of you that like to write, I also write. So my best-selling book, The Soulful Abundance System, was ranked #1 for women in business on Amazon. Super excited about that. It's actually what I'm teaching you guys over the course of these 4 days is the entire Soulful Abundance System. And so I wrote that, and I also write articles. So I write articles for Forbes. I am a Forbes coach on the Coaches Council. And so my Forbes page will publish articles. And I also publish articles in other magazines. There's a new one coming out called Brand Runway. And so I am a featured article person. It's a terrible word. Lost the language. A featured author That's the word I'm looking for. Okay. So another way is social media, right? And I do recommend that you at least have one platform that you show up regularly on social media. And here's why. If you meet them in person, that's great. But if they don't have a way to continue to connect with you over a period of time, you're not going to be able to collapse that 11 hours, right? A 90-minute session in person one time doesn't mean that they're actually going to think about continuing to be in your world, right? So we want to make sure that we do have some presence in social media. I personally use Facebook groups. I think I shared about this yesterday because groups are focused on community and connection, and that's the way that I like to build and grow my business. So I know that everybody that's inside my Facebook group is interested in growing a coaching or a holistic business. Nobody that is in that group does anything else. They're all there. So I have 1,500 people in my Facebook group right now. Some of them are clients, some of them are past clients, some of them are not clients yet. Some of you might have just joined and you've been able to see some content or information there. Okay. But that is where if I speak in person someplace, I'm going to invite them to come and hang out in my Facebook group so that they can continue to get to know me and to get value from me. Okay. I don't hang out on Instagram. I don't hang out on Pinterest or all the other places. I might have content that's repurposed there, but that is not really where I spend my time. Okay. Why? Because the two places that people spend the majority amount of their time on is YouTube and Facebook. Those are the two places that people spend the majority of their time, YouTube and Facebook. And YouTube is actually a search engine. Facebook is really focused on community and connection. And so that's why I choose to Facebook and I choose email. So those are the two things that we help our clients with inside of Activate Abundance Academy is to get their email list, help them to create a high converting, high value freebie so that we can start attracting the right client into our ecosystem and then know what to do once they're there and to start cultivating and nurturing people inside of the Facebook community where people can continue to get support. Okay, they can continue to learn. They can stay there for as long as they want. They can consume as much as they want, right? And then speaking would be another way. So speaking is a final way where you are typically getting in front of an audience. Speaking can look like multiple things. It could look like being on a podcast. It could look like being on someone's summit. It could look like speaking inside of a networking group. It could look like someone's stage if you're doing it in person. It could also look like going inside of somebody else's Facebook group or somebody else's group, like I did on yesterday or the day before, around how you can help people, right? So that is something that I do at least once a week is sharing and giving value, okay, and speaking and inviting people to either have the freebie that I have, which is all about revenue generators and building a boutique business, or coming inside my Facebook group to connect so that they can actually hang out and watch and see if they want to learn more. Okay. So these are ways. You don't need to do all of them, by the way. I'm just giving you options, right? So you do not need to do all of them. I do not do all of them. As a matter of fact, when I first created my first 6 figures in my business, it was primarily doing the speaking, doing the nurture events, the in-person events. Then I actually added my email because this was back in 2015. Then I added Facebook groups and when Facebook groups started becoming a thing. Okay, so I added some of these things in layers. But the two most important things are going to be email and then finding a place where you can actually build community. Okay. And here's what I want to say, because a lot of people will ask me, well, what about LinkedIn? Well, what about Instagram? Look, those are great places for visibility, but they don't build community. They're great for visibility, but they don't build community. Anybody can follow you on Instagram. That doesn't mean that they're your ideal client. Anybody can follow you on LinkedIn. That doesn't mean they're your ideal client, right? So we want to cultivate community, just like when I say a Facebook group, only the people who are interested in building a holistic business are there. On Instagram, heck, I had a post that went viral and it was a whole bunch of men in the Middle East. They're definitely not women growing a holistic business, right? So followers don't relate to actually quality ideal clients. And that, again, is why I like a Facebook group, because the people that are there are your 67% of the people who are actually looking for a solution, right? They're not just liking a post. They're not just thinking that photo is really cute. They're actually there for a purpose. Okay. And now we actually have a list of people that we can start connecting with and building relationships with and just being a real person. Hey, I'm so glad you're here. Is there anything you need this week? Right? Hey, I'm going to be doing a training on Monday around, you know, my top 3 ways that you can get a great night's sleep. Hey, I'm going to be doing a training on, and I do trainings once a week inside of my Facebook group that are short. They're typically around 10, 20 minutes. And the reason is it gives value. It's serving, it's nurturing, right? Some of you probably have seen it. So, what is marketing? Why do we need it? Marketing is visibility and helping to see who is self-identifying in our ecosystem. Okay, so I want you to ask yourself, where do your ideal clients spend their time? And where will you decide to consistently show up? Okay, if we're not consistently showing up, if we're ghosting our communities or showing up once every blue moon, that actually erodes trust. It doesn't build trust. So showing up consistently is actually going to build trust with the people who are seeing you. Like, oh yeah, what's Chris talking about today? Oh yeah, there's another post from Chris. Oh yeah, she's doing this thing again on Facebook. Great. That actually builds trust. Why? Because repetition builds belief. The more they see you, the more they hear you, the more they actually want to, and they actually know you, right? Isn't that crazy? It's like we can see somebody over and over again, and even though we've never met them in person, we kind of feel like we know them, right? And then you actually see them in person. I know this with a lot of my colleagues. We see them in person, we're like, oh my gosh, you're actually real. Like, yes, you are. Like, we're not just, in a Zoom room. So I want you to ask yourself again, where will you consistently show up? And how often could you commit to being visible? Okay. I highly recommend that you are showing up once a day, someplace. Once a day, someplace, wherever your ideal client is. And if you are unsure where that someplace is, that is where we actually help you inside of Activate Abundance Academy. Okay. The third thing is lead generation. So you have to, again, bring new people into your ecosystem. It's not enough to just be visible, right? Just posting is visibility. That is not lead generation. That is visibility, which is great and we need it. But you have to take them to that next level to bring them inside your ecosystem, to give them a piece of value where they're either exchanging their email for the download that you're giving them, or you're inviting them into your ecosystem inside of your community. For me, it's my Facebook group. Okay. Then we need to nurture them. How are we nurturing our audience weekly? How are we connecting with them? Are we ghosting our email list? Or are we actually sending a newsletter? And again, newsletters do not need to be this big thing. It just needs to be a piece of value. It just needs to be a way that they see us showing up in their email boxes, consistently. Why? Repetition builds belief. Belief builds trust. Trust converts to buyers, right? Okay, so ask yourself, how are you going to nurture your audience weekly? And then today, oh, now, gosh, we're done already. Oh my God. I'm like, oh, what are we doing next? Your action step then is going to think about what is one action that you can take to strengthen bringing somebody into your ecosystem, not just visibility, but actually either bringing them onto your email list or into a community. And then what's one thing that you could do to connect and just nurture somebody who's done that? And again, I gave you some examples. I'll give you some more. So whenever somebody downloads one of our freebies, we try to reach out to them on Facebook to just say, hi, thank you so much for downloading the guide. We're here for you if you need anything. Let us know if you want any support or what your challenges are. So we are nurturing. Once they already downloaded, we know that they're in our ecosystem because we see their name, we see their email, and we try to reach out to them as soon as possible. Another way that we do that is whenever somebody joins our Facebook group, they get a personal message from me. Hey, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Like, thank you for being here. Is there anything that you need? I've got a whole resource list of stuff to help people build and grow their business. Happy to send something your way, right? So no sales pitch, no trying to convince or persuade, no trying to manipulate, right? So I want you to think just one action that will strengthen attracting somebody into your ecosystem and one thing that you can do to nurture. If this sounds foreign, I get it. It is what I had to learn too. You're not being taught this in your certification programs. You're taught, maybe some of your business basics, right? But this is actually the way that you grow a business that feels good, that feels heart-centered, that allows you to nurture, that allows you to serve. And it is a whole lot easier and a whole lot more fun so that you're not spending a lot of time on calls with people who aren't interested. You're not trying to convince people that they should want to work with you. You're actually doing all of that nurturing up front in a one-to-many capacity so that then people can decide for themselves. Okay. So last night we opened up enrollment into Activate Abundance Academy where you learn all of this and we work with you. I only open up 10 spots every time because I want my brain and my heart with you on your business. You do not just work with a team like where I'm the salesperson and the front man and then I'm going to pass you off to somebody else. You actually get me. You get me live on the VIP days. You get me live in the Voxer group. You get me live in the Facebook group. Plus, we have other team members to support you as well, like a tech coach. So if you're like, how do I even get an email up? How do I connect a freebie? How do I create a landing page? We got you. We're going to support you with that too. So we are going to support you in multiple ways. I also include mindset in here because I know that identity is key. And we always start our sessions with making sure that we are tapped in to an abundant mindset, not a scarcity mindset. Because if we are so worried about, oh my gosh, but what do I say? Or what if she doesn't want to work with me? Or how am I going to overcome an objection? Or what if I look stupid? Or whatever. Those are thoughts that give us a feeling that we want to just totally tap out and not work on our business at all. Right? So every single month we have a specific session around mindset. And every training we also start by getting into a more abundant and spacious energy so that the strategy that you're learning actually works better. And the important thing that I think is so wonderful, and my clients actually share this with me all the time, is that they actually get to implement on the call with me. This isn't like, all right, I just told you a whole bunch of stuff, now go do it. Yes, there are recordings, there are modules for some of the basic things so that you can learn and then bring your question to the Q&A calls. You can learn and bring your question to any of those office hours that we do twice a month. We help you set up your 30-day profit plan. We help you know exactly what to do to attract, nurture, and invite so that you waking up feeling confident about, all right, what action am I going to take to grow my business? Am I actually focusing on the right things that are actually creating 80% of my results? Or am I focusing on the other things that are actually taking away my time and my attention in my business? Okay. So we opened up enrollment last night into Activate Abundance Academy, and we gave you a really, really sweet deal, which is you can join us for one payment of 8K. Normally it's $12,000 to join Activate Abundance Academy. But until tomorrow night at midnight, you can join for one payment of 8K. Or if you want a payment plan, we got you on that too, which is a $697 down payment. And then you make 12 payments of $697. And you are getting all of this. You are getting personal attention. You're also getting a group. You are getting a way to work and collaborate with other people who also want to build and grow their business and leverage each other's audiences. Lots of my clients will work with each other. They'll share each other's freebie to their email list. They'll invite each other into their Facebook group so that you can get in front of your ideal client and actually be more visible to the right people so that you don't feel like you are trying to chase clients every single day. So you know exactly what you're going to do every day. And as a matter of fact, we have something specific called the golden hour. So you know what to do to attract, what to do to nurture, and then you can take a look at who is in your world, in your nurture. We have a beautiful yes list. I call it our yes list, where we know exactly who we're connecting with, to then invite them to explore having your support, right? That again is only after they've been nurtured. We also teach you how to do something like I'm doing today. Online events, in-person events. You get all of my emails, all of my promotional emails that you can use as templates. You get all of my sales emails that you can use as templates. Like we are literally giving you, I am trying to take away as much resistance as I possibly can to you guys having success. So I will teach you how to do it, but I will also give you the assets that help you to do it. Because I know if you're like staring at a screen, that's not gonna work. So we have emails for you. We've got nurture email sequences for you. We have how do you actually invite somebody to work with you. We've got those VIP days where we spend time with you implementing. We had next month, we're going to be diving into nurturing, but also setting up a nurture event. Like, how do you even do that? What is the pathway? It's not as simple as saying, hey guys, I'm doing a challenge today, come join me. There's some moving pieces that need to happen before in order to bring people to your actual live event. And so you get all of those pieces, plus you get all of the pieces to do an in-person event. Why? Because that's how I started doing in-person events, and they work and they do convert well. And so I'm actually giving you 3 of my own personal talks that I used on repeat over and over and over again when I was building my health coaching and functional nutrition business. So I am not a newbie in the coaching world. Like I said earlier, I am a Forbes Council coach. I've been in the wellness industry for well over 30 years. I've created over $3 million in my business, implementing this myself and teaching it to other people. And I am not a newbie in online marketing, nor in marketing and sales. It's just that I choose to do it differently than I was taught. I choose to do it in a way that feels more heart-centered, more feminine, more permission-based, more relationship-based versus the hard manipulative push that can come across out there that originally that I was taught. So would love to have you come explore Activate Abundance Academy with you. Again, whenever I invite you into a conversation, it is simply to explore whether this is a good fit for you. I am not attached to whether you are a yes or a no. I am only wanting you to walk away feeling like you've made an empowered decision. And if that decision is no, great. I'm going to celebrate that with you and I'm going to help you get whatever it is that you need. Maybe it is a different person. Maybe it's a colleague. Maybe it's a different program. Maybe you need to start more in your foundations or something. Although we give you all of the foundations here inside of Activate Abundance Academy. So just so you know, I don't do hard sells. I will not try to coerce or manipulate you into the program because I know that if I do that, I'm breaking trust with you, which means it's going to be really, really hard for you to actually learn over the course of the next year with me. And if I have to drag you across the finish line in a conversation, chances are I'm going to be dragging you through the action steps, and I'm a no for that. Right? Like you got to row your own boat. I'm willing to give you the boat and the life jacket and the oars and the map and everything, but you have to row, right? It does take effort to build and grow a business. I'll teach you how and I'll be your biggest cheerleader, but it does take effort, right? This is not I'm not going to lie to you and say you're going to make $1 million overnight. Not going to happen, right? But you absolutely can create a 6-figure business in a year. Absolutely. I've done it. Many of my clients have done it. One of my clients, Jessica, went from bankrupt to 6 figures in 1 year. Totally possible. Okay. And while I don't make promises that that's going to happen because I'm not you and I'm not implementing the strategy, you are, what we do have is a commitment and a guarantee that if you show up, if you take the actions, if you implement what it is that we're teaching you, and you don't at least double your investment, you can go through the program again for another year for free. That is how solid this program is. I truly believe that there's nothing like this out on the market that helps heart-centered coaches and holistic practitioners build their business in a way that is fun and simple. And really, I want to make sure that it's simple. I'm not going to use easy because sometimes things feel hard, but we have to do them anyways, right? Like birthing a baby wasn't easy for me. I had 3. Did it natural. One was a home birth. It wasn't easy, but did it give me what I wanted? Yes. Did it take effort? Oh, hell yeah, it took effort, right? So just because something isn't easy doesn't mean it's wrong, doesn't mean it's not aligned. It's just that we want to know what it is that we need to do on a daily basis over time so that we can actually get the result that we want. And that is what my job as a coach is to help you do. And I do that through the Soulful Abundance System. So if you want to book a conversation with me, you can totally do that. You can go to the website and let me just grab that website for you. It is called shineabundancenow.com. And at the very top, there is a Let's Connect button where you can just book a clarity call with me to explore whether or not this is the best fit for you or something else. And I will tell you, I will be totally honest because I want you to succeed. And if I don't think that this is the best fit for you, I'll share something else. I'll say, you know what, probably not the best fit right now. You might want to get these things dialed in first, or this is absolutely the best fit for you. Okay. Alexis, thoughts about school. So here's the thing with school, Alexis, and this is a really great question. School is great for a community, yes. However, people aren't going to see you from, again, Facebook, people, you have a wider audience, right? School is not as good as creating visibility. So yeah, it's great. You could create a community there, but it's not really great for visibility. And that is what we need. We need both. Yeah, totally. Awesome. Emma said some people found out they were locked out of their Facebook group for no reason suddenly. Yeah, sometimes that happens, but it's rare. It's absolutely rare. And there's an easy, way around that. We have, you've got people in there that that can, allow you to get back in there. It's not a difficult thing and it doesn't happen often. So that's not a reason not to have a Facebook group. And I've had a Facebook group for almost 10 years now. Okay. You don't need a large Facebook group either. So I do want to kind of share that for those of you that are thinking, well, yeah, but I probably need 20,000. No, you don't. I created my first six figures and even that $500,000 in my business in that year with only 500 people in my group. Okay, so you absolutely do not need these crazy numbers. You can have a small audience. The important thing is that we are cultivating a community of, again, the right client, right? The people that are in the slow lane that are actually looking to solve their problem. And we're connecting and we're nurturing them so that they are building trust with you and they're interested in exploring that next step with you if they want to. Okay. You're welcome, Desiree. My pleasure. Absolutely. All right, guys, we're done for today. Tomorrow is all about heart-centered sales. So exciting, right? I used to hate sales. Literally, I used to cross my fingers and hope people wouldn't show up to the call. Not anymore because I've taken off that pressure. I don't have to convince or persuade anybody. I just get to hear the people that are interested in exploring and listen to them and help them make a decision. So we're going to talk more about heart-centered sales tomorrow and empowered leadership. So I hope you guys will come back. Definitely click the link, book a call with me. Happy to see if this or something else is a good fit for you, actually getting your work out in the world and bringing the clients in so that you can have an amazing business, a profitable business, and a business that feels really good and purposeful. All right, ladies, I will see you tomorrow. 12 o'clock. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Okay, 12 o'clock tomorrow, not 4 o'clock. So tomorrow is 12 o'clock Eastern, not 4 o'clock. Okay. All right, I'll see you then. Bye.